We had tequila, mezcal, bourbon,
all
some
black
moonshine today.
Okay, you said moonshine?
Yeah, I tried a little bit of moonshine today at lunch.
What?
At lunch.
At lunch, yeah.
Who made moonshine?
Who has slaves?
What was for breakfast?
Someone got slaves still?
No, at a local establishment here in Los
Moonshine?
Angeles. It's essentially moonshine. It was a corn whiskey. So it was a clear whiskey, which is essentially moonshine.
You got moonshine at that barbershop you go to, don't you?
They haven't back us.
yeah.
He got it at that barbershop.
Supercuts, I'm pretty sure Supercuts got
No.
that.
Welcome back to Out of Bounds. I'm Pierce Simpson. Thank you for joining us for a special episode. This is episode 100. As always, I'm joined here by Complex Sports editor, Mr. Adam Caparel. Cap, I hope you don't hate us too much by clowning.
No, we made it, my man. We made it.
We made it. 100 episodes. It's impressive. 100. Next to Adam Caparel is Mr. Gilbert Arenas. Gil, why you? Let me work.
Okay, all right.
Let me do it.
All right.
Let him do his thing. Let him do
me on that one, bro.
I'll throw you off, you know. Next, Gil, how are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
You going good? Got the Wood Chamberlain 100 jersey on?
Yeah, man, I had to wear a t-shirt on because I ain't got definition in the muscles.
No, it looked like the guns.
Like I ain't got no definition in the muscles.
It looked like the guns are there.
All right,
No,
nah,
a little bit.
You know.
Okay. Now, you're a little
I know what I
confused because
did.
I went out of order, but we're joined here by a very special guest, Super Bowl champion and two-time Pro Bowler and current Fox Sports host, Mr. Greg Jennings. Greg, thank you for joining us, brother.
Welcome.
Come on down to the lower level.
Only reason why I'm here,
Yeah.
because I knew he was going to gift this to me as a guest of the show, 100th show.
You're going to be very
Man,
disappointed.
oh, God.
He's going to be very disappointed.
You already eyed it, so I already know what that means.
You got a dash out of it quick.
Dash out again.
You got. I'll be right back.
He must already heard I can't fight.
He said he must have already heard I can't fight. Yeah.
Already heard the rumors.
Yo, gifting on Out of Bounds set doesn't really work well because if you look behind you, that picture of Gilbert was a gift to T.O. And T.O. just definitely left it here. So, yeah. Gil can give you some Moscato.
I'm a little different.
And I signed it.
And and framed it.
Matter of fact, you can sign this on the back and give it to me, and I won't leave it. But don't sign it on the front.
You see that look? He's definitely not getting that jersey. He's definitely.
You can't say no right now, though.
I know. I can't say no.
Now, that jersey's fitting because last night the Philadelphia 76ers got stomped by the Boston Celtics in Game 1 of their matchup, 117-101. The Boston Celtics take a 1-0 lead in the semifinal series. Boston got 29 points from Terry Rozier, 28 from Jason Tatum, and 26 points from Al Horford. The Philadelphia 76ers struggled. Joel Embiid had 31 and 13. JJ had 20 and Ben Simmons had 18 points. But Philly shot 19% from the three-point line. Covington 1 for 4, Sarge 0 for 4, Embiid 2 for 5, and Redick 2 for 7. Mind you, Boston shot 47% from the three-point line. Fellas, how impressive was the Boston Celtics Game 1 victory against the Philadelphia 76ers, who I believe all of us picked to win in 4 or 5 games? Gil, I'll start with you. I guess that tells me all I need to know.
Look, when Al Horford scores 26.
Yeah.
You're doing something fucking wrong. I can just say that right now. You're doing something wrong, Al Horford out there giving you 26. I didn't expect it, but I mean, it makes sense. You know, Philly's been sitting on a rest, and Boston's played 2 days ago, so they have their momentum under them.
So that's a real thing when teams are kind of crisp and.
Yeah, if you're just sitting at home doing nothing, practice against each other, you don't have your game speed yet. So.
And Greg, in football comparison, it's kind of like a team that decides to rest their starters in Week 17, knowing they have a game. Do you think that Boston benefited from having a game on Sunday and being able to come back and play quickly?
There's definitely benefits from being able to go right into another game, coming off an important game. But for me, I think in this game, and I hate saying that youth plays a factor in games, but youth, I think them coming into Boston with not really expecting to get this buzzsaw that they got from all this slew of guys, especially when you go into a situation and one of your main guys are down, you're thinking, okay, we got a little bit of advantage. But Boston, man, it's been proven. They established their team with their coach first, which is why these guys are all buying in. Marcus Smart is the only turnover from when Brad Stevens first got the job. So they've done it the right way. They got guys that are willing to trust the system and buy in. So it's not surprising that they won tonight.
Yeah, it's been impressive, Cap. They beat a Milwaukee Bucks squad in the previous series that we thought, from a talent standpoint, had the Boston Celtics number. Boston's missing their top 2 players, and Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward. What do you make of their Game 1 victory last night against the Celtics?
I make that the Sixers shot like shit.
Yeah.
And shooting 90% from 3 points is not going to happen again the rest of the series. They're too good. They're too good of a shooting team for that to happen again. You're going to shoot 19% in games 2, 3, 4, and 5 or 6? Not happening. So, I mean, the Celtics outscored the 76ers by 36 points from 3.
Yeah.
That's insanity. That's not happening again. So, bad shooting night. You can chalk it up to some rust. Maybe the young guys going into a really hostile environment in a round they haven't gotten to yet and all this stuff. But, like, more than anything else, they shot like shit.
They shot
Yeah,
very
I mean, that is a different environment compared to what they were seeing in Miami. 'Cause Miami, that's...
I mean, a half-empty stadium?
yeah, that's just in Miami. It's like a WNBA...
wow.
WNBA crowd. It's half empty, everything else is blacked out.
You saying that Boston might have some hardy yards as well in the stance?
They're rough.
They're rough. Got some hardy yards there. One player that's been impressive this postseason and surprised many people is guard Terry Rozier. And his outfit of choice prior to Game 1 last night against the Philadelphia Sixers, he paid homage to a former New England Patriots quarterback and kind of poked fun at an opponent that they recently beat in the Milwaukee Bucks.
We're here for petty.
You're here for petty. As you can tell, Eric, Terry Rozier wearing the Drew Bledsoe jersey. He called Eric Bledsoe Drew Bledsoe, whether by mistake or just a Freudian slip. But
also,
it wasn't.
Also, special shout out to the Celtics fans who were chanting, "You're not a rookie" at Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons,
that was, if you were paying attention, that was a nice little.
That's pretty PG compared to how Boston.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'll take not a rookie compared to what they
I'll give a little hat tip for that.
tend to say.
I mean, that was I like that one because that was a good rival between those
guys.
You know, you don't really see that between players anymore. Yeah. That two players really just for competing. A series competing. Yeah. You know, not too dirty, but just competing and. You know, to carry it on like, I mean, the series is over, but I still got beef.
I got you.
Special shout out to Mo Lewis, who almost killed Drew Bledsoe back in 2001.
But he got the Patriots.
The hit of the century.
He got their Patriots, the dynasty.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
The rest is history.
Yes,
he did.
So much for good deeds.
Yeah, the rest is history. You mentioned that Philadelphia would not shoot 19% from the field going forward. What do we make in Game 2? Does Philadelphia bounce back and even the series? Crickets, I guess.
I definitely think they'll have a better showing. For me, who they are as a team, Philly, the 76ers, they're a shooting team. Like you got no production out of anyone really outside of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Yeah. You have to have production from your guys, your supporting cast, your Covingtons, your Sarges, your Ilyasovas. Yeah. These guys have to step up and be who they were in the Heat series for them to beat this Boston Celtics team.
I completely agree. Gil, do you think they'll bounce back in Game 2 and even the series?
They should. I mean, right now, you know, Terry is their go-to guy. So, you know, at some point they're gonna have to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
I mean, you see, he carried the first round. Mm-hmm. This round, he's already, you know, showing his ass.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he's sticking, you know, Ben Simmons, you're going to have to put a little nigga in the post. Let's just be honest. You're going to put him in the post, hopefully he gets in foul trouble and just take the game over from there. And that's just how you do players like this. Yeah. You gotta hit him first because he's hitting and he's coming.
But how shook would you be if you're the Sixers, again, the young team, to get spanked like that? After, coming off a series, we have a ton of confidence, and you're actually favored in this game going up to Boston.
But you have Boston is favored at home. In a sense, you know, it's their home crowd.
But the Sixers were favored.
But I'm just saying, as your home crowd, we haven't
seen
seen that as a young group before. I mean, Miami's not a loud arena, so you going in there and you seeing a real playoff. This is the real playoff atmosphere for them. It's different.
I think being young also works to their advantage too, because as much as youth plays a role in them not being prepared, it plays a huge role in them not caring what Game 1 results were. Yeah. So moving into Game 2, look, we shot terribly. It's kind of one of those, you got me, let's go right now tonight.
Both teams is young. What are we talking about?
Yeah, both teams are very young. Both teams are very young.
I mean, both teams got a rookie that's balling, two-year players.
But the thing that has to scare the Philadelphia 76ers is arguably the player that's played the best for the Boston Celtics this postseason is Jaylen Brown, and he did not play in Game 1. So if he comes back and continues the ball, the Sixers could be in trouble. So
I mean, but they have an advantage. They just got to know how to use it. I mean, if Terry is sticking, Ben Simmons, I'm doing one down, drop him. We're just going to drop him, make you guys double. Yeah. And that's just how we're going to play this game. That's how, players are going to get open shots.
Agree.
But I mean, that's on Ben Simmons to be aggressive on
the coach too. But the coach
score.
But the coach too got to know, like, we're going to put him in the post, Embiid, sit for a little bit, hang out in the wing, let them double from here, get open shots up until they start, and let them rotate a little bit. I mean, it's the playoffs. You gotta adjust. You gotta know who your weakness is. You know, you just can't play the game normal every single time.
Not like you doing it in the regular season. Completely agree.
I mean, there's no way he was going to score 2 a night, me in the playoffs.
Yeah. Me either.
One full flat. Or I'm going to put him in the post. I'm gonna attack this kid. I'm not going to just let him keep coming down and just barbecuing me. You know, my defense was offense.
Yeah.
I'm James Harden.
Oh, really?
I'm trying to get you in foul trouble. I'm trying to get you in foul trouble. I ain't trying to play real defense on the other end. I'm good.
All right, so keeping it locked with the Celtics and Sixers, who just renewed their historic rivalry in the playoffs for the first time in a long time, got us thinking about what are the top 5 rivalries in the NBA of all time right now. We all have different opinions about this, and we're all going to go through and kind of rip off what we think is our number 1. We'll throw out first and foremost Lakers and Celtics are probably the most storied NBA rivalry, and you can't knock that one. So that one is on the board. We'll go across and see what everyone else has to throw this in there, because Brent Brown was showing his young Sixers some tape of the old Celtics Sixers games from back in the day when Wilt Chamberlain was going at it with Bill Russell and again trying to give them some nostalgia and some history behind it. So, all right, Celtics and Lakers off the board. Greg, what's your top NBA rivalry?
I'm from Michigan, right? So the Pistons are definitely in it, but the Bulls-Pistons rivalry to me is got to be up there. When you talk about the bad boys and the Jordan rules, and really, I don't know if Michael Jordan becomes Michael Jordan without the bad boys. Scottie Pippen definitely doesn't become Scottie Pippen without the bad boys roughing him up and him taking the offseason to say, I got to advance myself. I got to get in the weight room. I got to become better because I can't take this beating. So you saw guys grow up in that series on both sides, and that series was just one of those, that matchup across the board, physicality. The game was, that's what made you love the game.
So many iconic players in that.
Absolutely.
Dennis Rodman, Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan. It's just, the list goes on.
Absolutely. And they were back and forth all the time.
Pierce, what's yours?
Mine is kind of a new age rivalry. I had to go with the Warriors and Cavs. They met for the past three NBA Finals. I know that may be like, low-hanging fruit because obviously they're two of the best teams in their respective conferences for the past few years, but you can't deny it, especially that 2016 NBA Finals where LeBron came back 3-1 and the iconic block in Game 7, so I have to throw that on the list.
I mean, there's been some good Christmas games and some MLK Day games between the two of them. I just is that rivalry going to continue in 3 or 4 years? Are we going to look that fondly back in it? That's my question.
More than likely not.
But then again, you can knock my selection because I'm going to go with Nick's Heat and all the thug,
that was
the thuggery and the fist fighting and just the knock them down, beat the living shit out of each other.
That's a rivalry, though.
It's a rivalry, yeah. So it's I grew up on those games in the 90s where Oakley and Alonzo would knock the shit out of each other.
Wait, didn't
Jeff
I just post that? I posted that yesterday.
Larry Johnson and Alonzo
Larry
Mourning.
Johnson, Alonzo Mourning going at Jeff Van Gundy dangling off Alonzo's leg.
Yeah.
That was basically every other week, come springtime in New York. That was phenomenal.
Upset,
and you guys clown it, but those 75, 72 games, those are nail biters. Those are classics.
Yeah, because they fist fought the whole third quarter.
That's fine. That's great.
Those two dudes were fighting and no punches were thrown. No punches were landed.
No, they were punches attempted.
Who landed?
Attempted.
I didn't say they landed.
We all attempt fake punches.
No, those are
they're
real
fake punches
going back then.
You really don't want to hit anybody.
No.
So you may lean back a little bit, but that was an attempt.
You lean back and you throw across. Yeah.
The best one was
we got great eye and hand coordination. Obviously, we can hit somebody. We got some
the best one was P.J. Brown. Who did he throw off?
He hip check. He hip threw.
Man.
He tossed Charlie Ward over his hip.
That was the best one.
Yes, but that also cost the Knicks because half the bench came off the bench and got suspended. So
that's what I like to see.
David Stern screwed over the Knicks.
Nobody want to fight, man.
Nobody wants to fight. Gil, what's your rivalry? Because I feel like we kind of know it.
Mine's up there.
Okay.
I got a good one.
Let's hear it.
All right. It's it's the Cavs and the Wizards.
Oh. Hey, real quick, can we go around? Did the Wizards win any games?
You know what? I think I remember the Wizards never winning a series. Never winning.
We won games, though. We didn't win the series. We won games, though. But it was a good. It was a good series for me because I was averaging 34.
That's what I was about to say.
I was averaging 34. LeBron was averaging 36. We was out there balling.
Gilbert, I feel like I know you pretty well. This is our 100th episode, so of course I'm with you every day. I feel like you chose this rivalry because, like you mentioned, you played excellent.
Exactly.
That was my last actual playoff series because I got hurt.
So you're like, all right,
I got hurt, so that was it.
Okay, that's fair.
That was it. That was it for me.
I'm not mad at it.
Leave on a high note.
Leave on a very high note. Okay.
I was torching it.
You got yours.
I know.
Team didn't win.
And also, real talk out of that series, we got an iconic moment of when LeBron shit talked you on the free throw line.
Yeah.
That people still reference to this day.
Yep. And because of that, I started to no summers off.
You started that?
Yeah, because after that game, I sat in that gym on that rim and shot 1,000 makes at the free throw line.
But to be fair,
then I came back, and that's when
if you didn't make
hibachi was in.
Cooking.
Yeah, that's when I was cooking, I was cooking their ass.
But if you didn't make that 35-footer, y'all wouldn't even been in the
Yeah, we wouldn't have been in the playoffs.
Yeah, but people don't remember that.
What's so funny is I died in overtime.
You died? What do you mean you died?
I was gassed out.
Oh, okay. I thought it was about to be like some great story.
No, I didn't have no more energy in the play.
You didn't get an IV like LeBron was supposed to get?
You were burnt, as LeBron said after Game 7.
Because I had to, because to get to that last shot, I had to do a whole lot of. We had to
on your back.
I brung them. And
Wait, I gotta do a running tally. Business tats, no summers off. What else did you start?
summers off.
If you
What
let
else
him
am I
tell it,
missing?
he'll say that he created basketball with James Naismith. So careful.
Nah,
The NBA's ultimate trendsetter.
I'm
Sneakers,
gathering
social
that.
media.
I'm
I get it.
gathering
I
that
started
right
this though. I started to ball out. Pull it back. What's happening?
You know what? He doesn't get a lot of credit that he deserves. You changed the NBA in many ways.
Hey, you know what I did start? Since I might as well gas myself up.
What?
A lot of things.
All right, moving on.
Can't name them all.
I
Can't
just
name them all.
I just-
There's so many of them.
Hey, yo, my
So
man
many
said,
of them.
I just can't name them all.
A lot of things.
Looking forward to Tuesday's games. We have the Game 1 matchup of the Toronto Raptors and Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers are coming off of an impressive, I don't know if I would call it impressive series against the Indiana Pacers, but it was hard fought. It went 7 games.
LeBron was impressive.
LeBron was impressive, not the rest of his teammates. The Cavs won the regular season series against the Raptors 2-1. LeBron scored more than 29 points per game and shot better than 57% from the field and 40 from 3, 80 from the line in the season series against the Raptors. So if that's an omen for Toronto, they might be in bad shape with this series with LeBron coming into town. Cleveland has eliminated Toronto Raptors the past 2 postseasons. Toronto is currently the number 1 seed. Do you think Toronto has what it takes to beat a struggling Cleveland Cavaliers team right now? Gil, I'll throw it to you as you blink at me.
Come on.
Tremendously. It's not going
Come on. I didn't even know why you even asked me that. Hell no. They don't have no fucking chance.
No chance because they got a guy named LeBron
Say,
James.
if you couldn't do it, they can't do it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Talk about it.
You know, I like him.
I got you. I got you.
You know what I mean? Hey, we might need to replace you with the other
Hey, Greg, after game, that was great. I got to give you that one. That was good. That was good. After Game 7, in which LeBron tallied 43 minutes, he scored 45 points, grabbed 9 boards and 7 assists, along with 4 steals. He mentioned that he was burnt out and tired. Do you think that fatigue will carry over into Game 1 against the Toronto Raptors?
I honestly, I don't. I
They
think
just played Sunday, man.
they did just play Sunday. But the thing that I don't like about LeBron sometimes is it's like he sets up an excuse.
Hedging his bets.
He kind of sets it, he kind of tees it up. So if they come out sluggish or he comes out and he doesn't have the performance that we all know that he has to have for them to win, then I spent it all in Game 7, man.
But see, Greg, here's the tough thing. In that Indiana Pacers series, no other teammate of his scored more than 20 points in any of the games in the series. He was pretty much doing everything by himself.
He was.
But it's playoffs. It's playoffs. You don't get tired in the playoffs.
Right.
I mean, you don't. I don't even believe in subbing in the playoffs.
I'm going off.
I would never sub my stars in the playoffs. I just utilize my timeouts the right way.
Yeah.
That TV timeouts.
Right.
Fuck, you need a break for.
Yeah.
But LeBron was cramping up.
Yeah.
Huh?
But LeBron was cramping up at the end of the third quarter.
I mean, he cramps up because who knows? I mean, I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
he
cramped
always
up.
cramps up.
He's cramped
That
up
just might
plenty of
just be his
times in the
body
playoffs.
type.
Yeah. 2014 NBA Finals in San Antonio, he cramped up. 2012
Yep.
against Oklahoma City, he cramped up as well. Cap, do you think the Toronto Raptors stand a chance?
I said yesterday I'm taking Raptors in 7.
In 7, why you say that? Just because of
Just
Cleveland's
because
supporting
they have the
cast?
superior supporting cast, and we've seen the Cavs bench and LeBron's teammates potentially play like garbage. If Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, the 2 All-Stars, play better than the 2 All-Stars on the Cavs, then why? I mean, if Kevin Love's going to continue to be garbage and Lowry and DeRozan do their...
can't outplay LeBron.
Yeah, they have it for the past couple postseasons.
Exactly, and they've always had a better supporting cast.
They've always.
They've always had a better. The thing is, like, the Pacers had a guard in Oladipo that could take you off the dribble, and no one could guard him.
Yeah.
No one on the Raptors
It's
is that threat that, man, we have no answer for you.
Right.
They don't have that threat. They don't pose that threat. They can't throw all these other bodies at LeBron even on the defensive end.
But you can't deny there's a massive vulnerability with the Cavs that we haven't seen pretty much ever for a LeBron team.
No.
Not with this East. Not with the way. I mean, if Boston had their whole team like we thought at the beginning of the season, maybe. But the way it is now, there's nobody in the East that's going to challenge LeBron. Not right now.
I think the Washington Wizards kind of had an effective game plan against the Toronto Raptors. As you know, it was a blowout the first 2 games of that series, and they switched things up, letting DeMar DeRozan just get his mid-range shots, let him do what he does, and it affected them, and he was very inefficient from the field. So I'm curious if Cleveland will do the same in Game 1, which I think that they will. And also, Ty Lue, start Tristan Thompson. Stop playing these games. Start Tristan Thompson.
Well, I mean, yeah, put the Toronto native in the starting lineup back in Toronto.
Start him.
But Raptors are 6.5-point favorites tomorrow in Game 1. Raptors are 5-0-1 against the spread in their last 6 home games. So I think a play in the Raptors at giving 6.5 points is the way to go.
Come again?
Raptors minus 6.5 tonight. Yeah.
Go ahead. Throw the house on it.
I'm waiting for the day that somebody calls him out on Twitter. It's like, I lost everything.
I lost it all.
Don't do it.
That's on you. That's on you.
Don't do it.
Know how to balance your budget.
There's 2 games occurring tonight. The second game is the Golden State Warriors taking on the New Orleans Pelicans in Game 2 of their series. The Warriors blew out the Pelicans at home, 123-101 in Game 1. But what makes this Game 2 scary for the New Orleans Pelicans is that former 2-time NBA MVP Stephen Curry will be back in the lineup, more than likely. He's missed 15 games with a grade 2 MCL sprain in his left knee after JaVale McGee fell into him. Steve Kerr said that Stephen Curry will not be on a minutes restriction. Steph has participated in 4 consecutive straight practices. He's averaged 26 points per game, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds. After the blowout in Game 1, do you think the addition of Stephen Curry into the lineup will make this just an unwinnable series for the New Orleans Pelicans? Gil, I'll start with you.
I mean, missing 15 games and then coming back into the fire. I mean, it is Steph, so
yeah.
I mean, he's going to catch rhythm at some point.
Right.
And I think that's why he's coming back now, is he doesn't want to come back against, Houston.
Yeah.
You want him to get a few games in now. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose a couple games just to keep this game going.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if they'll do that.
If I'm them, I wouldn't want to sweep them.
But don't you want to give Steph a little bit more rest?
I mean, he's had enough rest. If you're going to rest him, then you might as well just not play him. I mean, right now, you want Steph to gain confidence. You want him to gain rhythm.
Right.
And
it's tricky.
It's tricky because, with the knee sprain and he's going against somebody like Drew Holiday, it's easy to go through practice where no one's challenging you.
Absolutely.
These guys are going to come at him. They're going to test his knee.
You can probably hide Steph on Rondo, right? On the defensive end. And
Rondo is too small. Like Rondo,
I got savvy of a player.
I got to give him credit. Like Rondo is one of those guys. Like if you back up, instead of him just saying, "Oh, you're gonna back up, I'm gonna shoot," he's gonna take that. He's gonna eat that space up.
Yeah.
And then say, "What are you gonna do now?"
Exactly.
So he's smart enough to catch an off balance. So I hope he stays healthy.
Greg, do you feel the same way?
I personally think with Steph coming back, this bodes well for the Pelicans because now you have a Golden State team that is in rhythm right now. Mm-hmm. Now you're trying to implement Steph. You want him to be able to put up his share of shots. So that's going to take away from Clay's shots. Right. It's going to take away from KD's shots. So you got to find a way to implement, even though they've always been able to do it, but there's still that lack of rhythm that they won't have with him having missed 15 games and coming back in. You're going to be a little bit more sluggish, slower. They're not going to win the series, right. Pelicans. Yeah. They have no chance to win the series, but they might get this game because of that.
Right, but when you're a team like the Pelicans who comes out and they dominated your series against the Portland Trail Blazers, so obviously the confidence is sky high, and you get into Game 1 and you get thumped like you did.
I was shocked.
Does that waver your confidence at all, or do you just come out firing?
Listen, playoffs it's about chess. Right. You got to understand it's chess moves, and you got to understand what you're great at, what you're dominant at, and stick to it, and let them adjust the next game. You can't, like I think when someone like Steph comes down, Clay comes down, hits 3 threes in a row, you want to come back and hurry up and try to close the gap by shooting. That's what they want you to do. You got to come and just grind that shit out and do what you do best. And sometimes these young teams in the playoffs don't understand that, and you get tossed.
Yeah.
You get tossed. Before you know it, you're down 25. Like, God damn.
Cap, to piggyback on Gil's statement, the Pelicans were outscored in the second quarter 41-21 by the Golden State Warriors. We know that they tend to get on their runs all the time. The Warriors shot almost 41% from three-point line. Do you think the Pelicans' strength in Game 2 is to slow the game down and maybe make it closer?
They can't because it's not who they are.
Right, they're
all about pushing the pace. And the one thing I look at with this, I'm going to circle the over-under for Game 2.
Okay.
Which is 226. Steph back in the fold, pushing the pace more. I'm advocating an overplay there at 226.
That's what
I'm looking at because
over
Steph
226.
over 226. So they hit the over
Yikes.
in Game 1 with some bullshit antics towards the end of the game. But it's what happens. But again, Steph back, pushing the pace, and the fact that the Pelicans want to push the pace and be as running gun as humanly possible.
Yeah.
I want to see more of that, just going up and down, up and down, up and down consistently. Warriors are 10.5-point favorites tomorrow night, and here's a stat I talked to you about in the green room real quick.
Ready to hear this.
Golden State is 2-8 against the spread following a straight-up win by 10 or more points.
Yikes.
So, you may want to take those points tomorrow night, or tonight I should say.
There you go.
You said 2-10?
They're 2-8 in their last 10 following a straight-up win by 10 points or more. So that would mean take the Pelicans getting 10.5 points.
They will be 3-8 tonight. They're going to.
We're going to find out. But then again, maybe Steph screws up the continuity and the rhythm and stuff like that. And I mean, it's possible.
I judge Golden State kind of like I did them against Cleveland last year. They just have one too many guys that you just can't stop.
And that's the problem. They got
they
too
just-
many.
yeah.
They got too.
Yeah.
But to your point, like teams, you have to do what you do.
Yeah.
And that's why the Rockets are so good, because they can get out on you because they sit at the 3-point line and they just outshoot you.
Yeah.
And then to your point, it's like, well, shoot, let me get us a little closer. Let me pull up from here too. And you don't have enough shooters to shoot shot for shot.
Like the only way you beat a 3-point team is you have to be an aggressive driving team. So while they're shooting threes, you're getting easy buckets. So because at some point they're going to miss 3 or 4, but you're getting these layups and getting to the free throw line. That's the only way you neutralize a 3-point shot.
That's why, like you said, playoffs all about matchups. That's why a team like Oklahoma City could have gave Golden State a ton of trouble.
Yeah,
ton of trouble. Switching things to the NFL. The NFL draft wrapped up this past weekend with a lot of surprises. Baker Mayfield going number 1 overall, and then the Cleveland Browns again taking a cornerback that they could have traded back for at the 4th spot. But aside from all that, a superstar wide receiver still remains unsigned despite the NFL draft process being over, and that's Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant was released by the Dallas Cowboys. Some question whether or not the Dallas Cowboys waited too long to release him. But Dez has turned down a multi-year offer from the Baltimore Ravens. He's seeking a 1-year deal so he can eventually prove himself and hit free agency again in 2019. There's been teams that have inquired about his services, like the Buffalo Bills. He's been linked to squads like the New York Giants after they released Brandon Marshall and the New Orleans Saints. Greg, I'll throw it to you first since you're the resident NFL player. Where do you think Dez Bryant will end up next season?
I don't know where he would end up. I know he wants to face the Dallas Cowboys twice.
Of course.
He wants to be in the NFC East. And when you're a player and you're released, typically the teams that pick you up are the teams that they know you.
Yeah.
They've played you year after year, a couple times. And so with that, I think Washington would be a great fit for Dez Bryant.
Really?
They acquired Paul Richardson from the Seattle Seahawks.
Deep threat wide receiver.
Exactly. That's pretty much all they have.
Yeah.
You have Alex Smith at the quarterback position, a veteran guy, proven guy who can get you the ball, who's going to be a constant under center.
Yeah.
You got that. You have a really good. You don't have that receiver that you can say, you know what, be a big physical body, make these. Terrell Pryor couldn't give them that last year. He couldn't make the plays down the field that they needed. Dez Bryant, he's still a valuable asset in this league. I think that would be a good fit. Going up against Josh Norman every day, having that competitive defensive back to challenge you, to even kind of tutor you and show you what you're doing that tees off or tips off your route running, that would be huge for Dez.
Absolutely. Cap, where do you think would be the best fit?
I mean, I kind of joked around like the Jets could use a receiver.
Yeah.
Because they actually really could.
They really-
talented
they
one.
really
So,
could.
I mean, maybe go there, but he obviously wants to win. And, revenge seems to be a big driving point for Dez. The more fascinating thing to me about the whole Dez story, and we talked about this before we came on, was when he got cut.
Yeah.
And how, Jerry Jones came out this week and he was still unapologetic about the fact that they cut Dez and did him dirty by cutting him so late just before the draft and well after free agency when he's left high and dry and couldn't really go to a team when, you're supposed to ideally take care of your players, do right by them, but the NFL doesn't do it that way.
Yeah, and the irony that Jason Witten kind of did the same thing during the draft process this weekend where he's rumored to retire and go play Monday Night Football. So the same thing that make you laugh and make you cry.
The owner of your Cowboys said, for everyone concerned, that was as good as a time as any from the end of the season to cut Dez Bryant, which is a load of horseshit.
It strikes me as there was an internal battle between whether we should keep Dez Bryant or let him stay. What do you make of Dez Bryant willing to bet on himself and turn down
I was going to ask you that. Is that a smart move? I mean, I don't really know football contracts like that. I know, if you have a bigger deal on the table and you take a 1-year deal to be a free agent, you don't think they're going to fuck you at the end of the season?
It is a smart move if you are a little younger, but Dez being older and having already not proven to be a route runner, a consistent route runner, and a guy who creates separation, that's asking a lot of a veteran guy that all of a sudden you're going to now work on these things to get better at year 8, 9, and now you're going to change the way you approach the game. A lot of this, playing ball, you always want to bet on yourself. Like if you don't bet on you, who else will?
Exactly.
So I mean, I'm not knocking them for doing it because everyone believes that I still got it. I can bet on me and then make big, but I don't think that's the right decision for Dez Bryant right now. Get the guaranteed money. Yeah. Lock yourself up.
And that's how I look at it. I'm like, if this team offered you like let's say 3-4 years and you're going to take a 1 year, I'll be afraid that team fucks me too.
But Gil,
and decides he wants to bench me and say,
but Greg, you can attest to this. NFL multi-year deals.
It doesn't matter.
It's a fallacy. You know what I'm saying? Wherever your guaranteed money is, that's really what it'll be.
That's your deal.
If all your guarantees is in year 1, the second, third year does not matter.
Okay.
Do you think the pairing of him and Odell Beckham Jr. in New York could be a good possibility?
That would be interesting. I think it would be fascinating. I think it could definitely work because you would have Dez Bryant who was a number 1 guy going into a situation where he's pretty much proceeding, I'm not the number 1 guy. I know walking in, I'm not that guy. I work out with this guy, I train with this guy, so our personalities are similar in a sense, but our passion is matched because we both just want to win. So I think it would work.
Right.
I just don't know if that's best for the Giants.
Gotcha.
Not so much personalities-wise, just for the Giants because they have a young Sterling Shepard. They have an Ingram that they both were able to blossom so much last year. They have a lot of youth that they can exploit.
And also when you take a running back with the number 2 overall pick in the draft, you're kind of making a case that, hey, we're going to run the football more this year. We're going to give it to Saquon Barkley and protect our 37-year-old quarterback. I think the best fit for Dez Bryant would be your former squad in the Green Bay Packers. Simply because Dez Bryant's best routes are usually back shoulder fades, 50-50 jump balls. The best quarterback in the league to throw that is obviously Aaron Rodgers. They drafted a couple wide receivers in the draft, so maybe their decision making on whether they want to add Dez Bryant to the fold could be something. But I think the Giants would be a great fit. And New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees is known for putting receivers in good position. So we'll see what happens. And as a Cowboys fan, we love to have you back, Dez. So
New York media would love Dez and Odell in the same locker room.
Oh, Lord.
The storylines.
You imagine
stories upon stories upon stories.
Oh, man. The quotes. That would be
All right, keep
crazy.
it moving. So we have 2 former pros here, in Gil and Greg. We need to ask them what motivates an athlete. And I bring that up because recently you've had a bunch of stories come across about different motivation, hustle issues, and competitiveness that have really taken center stage across baseball, football, and basketball and all over the place. So we'll start with Game 7 of the Cavs-Pacers series and Victor Oladipo, who talked about post-game that he immediately texted his trainer, David Alexander, at the end of Game 7 to say, "When do we start? I'm ready to take it to another level." And Oladipo said in the post-game press conference, quote, "I don't know how to take time off. I had someone tell me, take a break and enjoy my life. This is my life. I feel like I've got a lot of room to improve. This summer I'm going to go work so I can come back even better." And then another example, Baker Mayfield. There's been a lot of questions about him and some of the background, and the Browns obviously took him number 1 overall. But Mayfield going to the scouting combine. people talking about, would he be able to settle for a backup job coming out of college and blah, 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 and how would he adjust to that? And Mayfield had this to say, quote, "When I say those type of things, it is because I'm competitive. If I come in with the mindset of just being happy that I got drafted and just to settle for a backup job, that wouldn't be myself. I'm going to come in and compete, but also with the hunger to learn from a guy that has been in the league and that has seen things that I haven't seen." Of course, he's talking about Tyrod Taylor, who's probably going to be the Browns' incumbent at least before Mayfield can take over. And then the third example we're going to have is in baseball. And this past weekend, Giants-Dodgers, Cody Bellinger was benched by his manager, Dave Roberts, because he didn't leg out a triple, but it easily should have been a triple. And to make an example of his star player, Roberts benched Cody Bellinger in the middle of the game. So throwing it to you two guys, the former pros, how do you measure a player's motivation, hustle, competitiveness, and again, kind of giving different examples of how guys come about their process and how guys, justify the means? We talked about this a little bit yesterday.
Like me, when I played, I wanted to be the best. I wanted to play. I wanted to be great, and I know I had to put the work in. So if I see you're taking 500 shots, I'm going to wait till you leave. I'm going to take 700 shots. I'm just going to do whatever it takes. So that's how I looked at people. Instead of listening to what they say, I want to see it. I want to see the work ethic. I want to see, all right, game's over. I'm just going to sit there and stare at you and see what you're going to do. Okay, he takes a shower, he left. Yeah. All right, left. I want to see that guy, after the game, he goes in and takes another, 300 shots. Go in there and lift weights before he leaves. I mean, that's how you can tell if someone really wants it. If I got to tell you to do something, nah, you're not my guy.
Yeah. We saw that video of you in the NBA Inside Stuff of going to shoot around at midnight and having one of the guys. Yeah, exactly. Yes. In your long ass shorts. But yeah, I mean, you lived it. You talked about the no summers off too, where it's like you kind of had that Oladipo mentality before Oladipo voiced it. Where it's like you said you went right into the gym after missing those, the free throw and just shooting free throws.
I mean, what else you gonna do? There's you have a short window of trying to be great or trying to be a professional, whatever. I remember somebody asked me when I got drafted, and it was what was your dream? Mm-hmm. And I was like, to be an NBA player. It was like, okay, you're an NBA player now. What's your next dream?
Exactly. How much is it paranoia? Just being paranoid that you don't want to lose your spot. Is that a lot of it?
I've never operated out of that fear-based place. For me, it's once I get that spot, rearview mirror is down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't need to see who behind me because they got to get to me.
Yeah.
So that's always been my mentality. But to your point, I can see if you want it.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I can see if you want it. If we lose, your response to how we lost, or if you're an I guy, me guy, I mean, all those things you can tell if a player is about bettering himself to help the team, or he's just in it for himself. When I look at what Oladipo said, and a lot of times what motivates a player or what really ignites that motivation is either an opportunity missed or something you see on the horizon, an opportunity that you can capitalize on. With Baker Mayfield, he's seeing, my dream is to be in the league, NFL quarterback, but I'm not satisfied being a backup. Yeah. Oladipo, he missed a great opportunity. Mm-hmm. So your first response to that is, man, I can't ever let this happen again. I got to get back in the gym right now.
So we talked last week heading up at the NFL draft how there's maybe too much overanalyzation and too much, overthinking about these draft picks. And, one thing you can't measure is obviously intangibles, and that's getting competitive, drive, and stuff like that. Is it much easier for you guys, former players, to measure that with these guys coming into the league as opposed to the scouts and the execs that have been around the game for longer because you're so much closer to the game?
I never try to discount what scouts do because that's all they do. They watch film and they study players and their personalities and their demeanors and all of that. But, and this is as a player, you just know.
You just like a six.
You just know. If a guy has it or if he doesn't.
Yeah.
A receiver could get drafted and come in, and we would watch how he caught his first pass. Yeah. And it was he ain't got it. He ain't got it. You know when a guy walk in the gym and when Nah, he ain't got it.
Yeah.
You just know as a player because you're around it. You are, to your point, I'm that dude. Like I know what it takes. I'm around guys who are special, who understand what it takes to be elite.
Yeah.
And so you can identify it, and then you can see those who, yeah, he got it.
Got it, yeah, exactly.
He got it.
So in terms of competitive, who was the most competitive individual you guys both went against on a regular basis?
For me, Charles Woodson.
Really?
Charles Woodson, most competitive, and it wasn't so much that he was just a great athlete because he was,
Yeah.
but it was what he was able to do every single day without even being the most athletic. Even when he got older, he was so smart. He challenged himself to know everything, so that when he did start to fall off, it was as if he never got slower because he was one step ahead of you because he knew what to expect. So Charles Woodson was always a chess match in practice for me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Probably Kobe and AI.
Really?
I mean,
Obviously, yeah.
when it came to AI, I mean, he was one of those guys where I know everyone always talked about the practice, that he never wanted to practice. But my thing is like, a guy can't be that good if he didn't fucking practice. Okay,
Yeah.
let's just put it like, let's just be honest. Yeah. But he played the game. He played the game like the white boy in high school that gets on your nerves. You know that he got so much.
Scrappy,
He just
scrappy guy?
distracted. He's that guy, but with offensibility.
The guy that's boxing out every play.
So he's diving for loose balls, jumping in the stands. I mean, he's trying to score 100 on you. I mean, he was just ferocious as a basketball player. And then with Kobe, it's like a fucking, you're playing chess. There's a fucking mind fuck out there. You don't know what's going on half the time with him. But, what a guy is like, he challenged you mentally. Like, if he's guarding you, he's doing it so he can talk shit so you can guard him. And he'd do that like, oh, so you're a one-sided player, so you don't play defense. Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
It was like, well, I'm the point guard. I don't supposed to guard you. So you're not gonna take this challenge? You're not gonna take the challenge? All right, let me.
He said that to you?
Yeah.
Wait, Gil, we're talking about AI said that to you?
No, Kobe.
Kobe, okay.
So Kobe will stick me.
Yeah.
And then when he has the ball, he's expecting the same respect.
Yeah.
Like, and he's gonna talk to you like that. Oh, so you're just gonna play one side of the floor? Oh, he doesn't like to play both sides of the floor. He doesn't want to be a good player. He just want to be average. You want to be good, you'll stick me too.
And this is during the game.
And I'm sitting here like, is that it?
He's falling for it.
Yeah, he wants the advantage to like easy score because this is an easy bucket over here. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna fall for this, and I'm not gonna fall for this. But that's who he was. Like he challenged you. He challenged himself. Like the moves he tried, or he was doing in the game, you can tell he practiced.
Without question.
Those wasn't random. The dribble two, spin, fade away out. He practiced all that shit.
Do the most competitive guys also generally tend to be the guys that talk the most shit?
Not always.
Not always. Yeah.
Not always.
Like AI didn't talk. AI didn't talk shit. Kobe.
Not really.
Yeah, the real Revis was my chess guy as far as outside of Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
Where he would line up across from me and he would literally cut off half the field.
Yeah.
Like he would line up and shade inside like, what you gonna do?
Right.
Like, and you knew my route, I have to get inside. If I don't get inside, I'm not doing but he knew all of this and he was like, well, I know this too. I watch film. I see everything you guys do.
Yeah.
How you gonna get in here? Like, and it was a constant chess match to get him to do what you wanted him to do versus him getting you to do what he wanted.
And was he a guy that wouldn't say much on the field?
He wouldn't say much.
That has to be frustrating.
wouldn't say
You going
much.
against a great guy. He can't.
I mean, but said a lot of trash. I mean, a lot of greats don't really talk trash like
Right.
that.
They
I
don't
mean, I heard stories about Jordan, but that's after you go after him.
Yeah.
Like Gary Payton was the shit talker. Sam Cassell
Yes.
was the big shit talker. I mean, but Sammy wasn't. He wasn't the best player on the court.
Right.
But his 8 points the way he talks about it, you would have thought he had 20. You really did. Like,
Why Sam Cassell got to catch a straight bullet?
no, I'm just saying that's how he really like. He got 11 points, and he talked all 11 of them.
He was gonna give you some buckets.
He was gonna give you some buckets.
He wasn't gonna play no defense.
Nope. He's sweet, coach. He's sweet down here. Like, yo.
He's Sam Cassell. Fellas, 100 episodes. This was a great episode. Greg, we thank you for joining us on Out of Bounds. We hope that you had a great time, and we hope to have you back again soon.
They come back for 200.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm again, as I mentioned when we first started, I'm excited about the gifts, man.
I got some other jerseys. I got some other jerseys.
Not this one.
I got to be like Larry Hughes.
I got some other.
Antoine Jameson. I want this.
I got a Danielle Marshall jersey.
It was nice as fuck. All right, you don't do that to the Larry Hugheses. You don't do that to them.
Okay,
how about Darko
Ruffin?
Darko.
Michael Ruffin.
You gonna
be cool, man.
How about Darko?
You gonna
Miletich?
Darko?
Oh,
Come on.
somebody said when you said who is Trevor Booker, they said he was one of your teammates. Okay, that was the latest edition of Out of Bounds.
Wait, the jumper Trevor Booker?
Yes, that's the one you said. Who the fuck is that? Yesterday.
The one who slapped the shit out of Big Fella and
Who? We'll talk about this as credits roll. For Adam Caparell, Greg Jennings, Gilbert Arenas, I'm Pierce Simpson. This is another edition of Out of Bounds. We'll see you tomorrow.
Over what? A practice fight?
No, it's a preseason, right?
What? Hibbert just fell off the face.
Yeah,
100.
it's kind of crazy.
These cups
Like he
clean?
completely
I
fell
got
off the
something in here.
face.
Can I get a plastic cup?
Sometimes the guys fall apart, yeah. Bynum too, though. Bynum hasn't been in the league for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Actually, if not more.
Here's how you know he's a.
yeah, there's some cheap shit right here.
This how you know. Listen, great point guard right here. He poured himself some and nobody else, and just set it back down. Like, there you go.
Hey, look, I've been in the club atmosphere, all right? Bitch, you want your own, you better pour it yourself. All right? I ain't a gentleman over here.
Hey, that's real.
I paid for it.
My man said.
I'm not going to pay and pour.
Yo,